it's a holy Bible, and also basically they have a written statements referring to what is seen as a true statement from a prophet, one of the great prophets, or the great prophet Jesus, who in the New Testament is presented in the New Testament as being the new age of the day, that has been the excuse of the transformation of the whole Jewish worship to what now we call it as the Christian worship, because they are the followers of Christ, and the Christ was Jewish. And he made clear statement that he did not come to destroy the laws and the ways of what is being practiced in his own tribe, the Jewish tribe, but he came to make it, to fulfill it, to implement it, to establish it in so many ways. But fulfillment is like carrying the job to do the work that is not being able, has been failed to be fulfilled. The things that needs to be done that they are unable to do. The work that they're supposed to carry out that they are not able to carry out is so difficult for them. He was there to fulfill it, to make it happen. That he was not to make it happen actually, but in actuality, to do it, to prove that it can be done. And according to the whole text, in the last moment of his life being killed, he said, "It is done." He has fulfilled the work. And the proof is that he will rise again in the third day, and according to the story, he rose. There are other disputes about his death and his resurrection. The cousin brother of the Jewish people, that's the Muslim, Islamic people, the Arabic people, dispute it. And I've proved that in most of the videos. I've pointed it out to you about him dying on the cross and all that. What really is all this about? We keep on the same journey, the trend. If you've been listening, then you have no issue of me tripping or somehow deviating. You will then catch the grips of what I'm coming from. This is a form of introduction again, a little bit of introduction, but we step onto the same grounds. That we have to reveal that friendly trap is a very cunning and very deceptive thing which has trapped us all into this situation. I may have so many objections, but I don't care about the objections and the rejections that people might have. That is entirely up to them. It's also entirely up to me as to what to believe, how to believe it, and how to present it. But if it's a big time, wild, acclaim, exaggerated fact, in so many ways fact, but in reality, it can be seen as deceptive and cunning, then it has to be known, it has to be understood that why do you think that this thing is not what it is? The presentation is not matching. It's not really matching the practice. And that is the issue. The new Christian group claim, the new Christian group, which I have been part of, I probably find myself then and then, here and there, within the same, scope of Christianity. And I said to myself, what really are we practicing in comparison to what we read, or what we read in sense of represents us? As I said, the new Christianity is using the leader of who is being referred to as Jesus. That's why it became necessary that the name was translated or changed. To me, it's like it was changed from Yehoshua to Jesus by the Europeans who took up the mantle of practicing what he teaches. But actually they don't practice what he teaches or follow what he teaches. They reformed or refined it, and make it polished or different. They change his wishes, his will, his speech of what he wants to do, because they feel it was that time. Now it's today. So we take some of his advice, but we can't take the whole thing. But then in so many ways, we are not his follower. We don't really follow him. If we believe he's a prophet, then he, as a prophet, was speaking at that time. Whatever he spoke at that time and what he spoke of the future it can be changed. It can always be fulfilled in that manner, just as he came to fulfill the scriptures that is of the prophets that were before him. So you also have to fulfill, if you consider him as a prophet, to fulfill the things that he has spoken of today. That is about you, you and I. So, but that is not what we are seeing here. Now, what are we seeing? Today we have problem with incest. It is not something that today's life, my life, everybody's life, we easily get into. The Bible will teach you, with philosophers will come to tell you and explain to you with with the New Testament and all that, to tell you that in those times it was necessary to do that, but this time God has changed it. Whoever told them, whether God told them, nobody knows who is the prophet among them. But there are great men who comes out to speak, because they got followers, they become great, and they attract a lot of people through their education or through their presentation or their mannerism or whatever it is. They're able to attract people. They become great. They stand on the grounds to demonstrate that spiritual inspiration behind what they do, and they transform the book and teach and interpret and say that the Holy Spirit is guide them to have understanding of these things. But they dare not put themselves into the challenge of which I gave you in Matthew 16 or something, which review things which tells you are the true signs of somebody who claim. Because he also tells you in Matthew 24 that if you look into it, there will be that greater presentations of false prophet. The Bible revealed things. It's coming from diverse people. That's what I see. Diverse rules of grounds, and the human inside, or the human aggressiveness to find the truth, got to the